Well, hey there, it's Jean, the homeschooling mentor at Art of Homeschooling. And today I want to show you how to make two different kinds of paper window stars. So these are magical folded paper creations that you can hang in your window and let the light shine through. And they really bring a lot of warmth and color into your space at the darker time of the year or all year round, any season really. So let me show you first some examples of stars that I've made with my kids over the years. I have 3 kids who are now grown, but we've made so many of these stars. And we would often make them and send them as gifts to the grandparents so that they could hang them up in their homes. So here are just a few. They're made with, you can see how the light shines through them in this really magical way. And when you hang them up on the window, tape them to just the glass on your window. During the daylight, they look even more magical. They're made with this waxy paper that comes in lots of different colors that's called kite paper. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Let me just show you a couple more stars. So that was the first one. Here is another one. And the design in the center is created by the way you fold the paper, and each point is one of these squares. So for example, this one, you use 5 little squares to make. This one, you use 8 squares, and this is the window star that I folded many years ago that then became my logo for Art of Homeschooling. I took a picture of it and turned it into my logo. Here is a nice pink one. You can see all the little intricacies are from the way you fold the paper. And then here is one very simple one that I'm going to show you how to make. This is one of the ones I'm going to show you how to make today. Okay, so the supplies that you need include, the ones I'm going to make have 8 points. So you need 8 squares of this kite paper. You can also make these out of tissue paper, but it's a little bit trickier because tissue paper is thinner and easier to tear. So that can be a little bit frustrating, but it is really fun for kids to make these. Kids probably 8 and up can do them. Sometimes even 6 and 7-year-olds can make them. I'll give you some tips on that in a sec. So this kite paper you can buy in, this is a whole set really. I pulled these different colors out of here, but this is a set of different colored kite paper that you can purchase, right, from different Waldorf suppliers or online. And this, these are 6 1/4 inches square, this sheets of kite paper. So I have, I'm going to make 2 different stars, one yellow, so I have 8 squares of yellow paper here, and then 1 white, and I've already folded some of them. So 8 squares of this white paper. So now I'm going to show you the very simplest fold that you can make with kids, maybe even as young as 5, 6, probably. One of the things about making these magical window stars is that the folds, the more accurate the folding is, the more crisp the lines will be in the completed design. But we also can be fine with it, there being some variation, right? I'm just giving you that information because it totally depends on how much of a perfectionist we are as the mom, and also our children's temperaments and personalities. Some kids will do this really quickly and make really messy folds, and then it won't turn out and they'll get frustrated, or it won't turn out and they'll be fine. Some kids will just like fold and refold and refold. So it's just a way of sort of getting in touch with and exploring our own process for making things. But they're really fun to do, and over the years it's great to create a collection of them, and then we always put ours up around Thanksgiving and leave them up late into the winter, because here in northeastern Ohio it can get very gray and frozen outside, so it's really fun to have these bright stars decorating the house. And I have a podcast episode on this. If you want to go to the show notes, have written instructions, so you can go to artofhomeschooling.com/episode 9, and I am inviting you to participate in the Window Star Challenge. So if you want to make one of these window stars and share it on social media with the hashtag Window Star Challenge, it would be really fun for us to see each other's stars and just celebrate all of the homeschooling families shining their light in this world. Okay, I'm going to show you first the super simple fold that makes this particular star right here. And then I'm going to show you a second one that's a little bit more complicated. Okay, so this one, I have these yellow sheets here, and the thing that you should know is that learning the fold on the first one can take a little bit longer, but then once you get that, it gets easier and easier, and you're going to fold every square exactly the same. Okay, so let me show you the fold first that makes this particular star. I'm going to move my camera. I don't have the most professional setup here for this type of thing, but the supplies are 8 squares of this yellow paper, a glue stick, right? And then I have this handy little, here, I'll do it over here, this handy little device. It's called a bone folder, and it's pretty solid. It's used in a lot of paper crafting, and it just helps you seal the, you rub it along the fold to make it crisper, but you don't have to have one of these. You could use your fingernail, you could use the edge of a book. There are all kinds of ways to do it, but you just want to go over the fold a few times, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Okay, so I have my supplies in front of me, and I'm going to move my camera, so bear with me for just a second, and I'll show you the setup here. It's also good to have a solid surface, so this is just a painting board. It's plexiglass, really. All right, so I have my bone folder, I have my glue stick, and I have my square. Okay, so here is the square of yellow paper, and the first fold on this particular star is done in a triangular fashion. So you just fold one corner to the other, and this fold, this 8-pointed star just has 3 different folds. So the first one is you make, and it can help to slide your finger like this and then out in both directions. You make that triangular fold first, and then you can rub that fold like that with the bone folder or something else, and then you open it back up. Okay, so you have a diagonal line here, and then next you're going to fold 2 of the corners, these 2 corners, to the center line. So here's the first one, and the trickiest part is up at the tip. Right, so you want to line it up along the line, and then you just want to make sure that the tip has a nice point to it. So when I'm ready, and I feel pretty confident, I can slide my finger along the edge like that. And then I'm going to turn it so that I can do the other side and kind of match it. So a couple things you're looking for. You want these to line up as close as possible, and you want, again, the tip, you want this middle edge to line up as close as possible, and the tip to be as pointy as it can be. And I don't have it perfect, as you can see. There's a little space there, and then there's a little overlap, but you can wiggle a little bit, right? And then there is one of the points. So there is one fold. I'm going to turn it over, and then this is where you can rub this bone folder along the side like that. Now, let me show you how, once you have all 8 of these folded, you're going to put them together with a glue stick to make this star here, right? And the way that you're going to do that is that each point, you're going to lay it out, and then the next point you're going to match up, like by putting the center here, the tip out here, and this edge goes along the center line of the previous piece, right? So you're going to put this here, and glue. If you stick a little glue under here, then you're going to lay it on top of the previous piece. So let's just pretend that just this one star point is complete and laid out on the table, and then we're going to put the second star point here. Now when you get to your third star point, it's good to you're going to then you're going to lay this edge on the top again, and then the next one on top of that, and lining up that center line, and then on top and on top and on top until you get all the way back to the beginning. And the trick on the very last piece is that this one's going to get a little glue underneath and stick to the previous one, and this edge you're going to tuck under the first piece. And then you're going to glue the first piece edge on the top, so that every point has one edge that's on top and one edge that's underneath. And then voila, you have your window star. And it's really nice to then just take a little piece of Scotch tape and make one of those little loops and stick it on the back of the star and put it up on your window. So that is star number 1 with just the 3 folds. And remember that the very first fold, this is where you get going, it is a triangular fold. So you're taking 2 corners and matching those up, right? And then you open it back up and you fold 2 other corners to that center line, and that's your star point. And you make that 8 of those. That's for the first star. Now the second star I'm making in white. Okay, so this piece I haven't folded yet, but I have folded 7 other pieces, and this has a few more folds to it. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to make one that was a little bit more complicated. So this fold, the very first fold, is, I know this looks like a lot of folds, but this very first fold is folded in half this way, right? So it's a different start. You fold it in half this way. And then again, you open it back up. So you have this line. And now you're going to make, in a sense, you're going to make a smaller square by taking the corners, every one of the 4 corners, and folding them to the center line. Okay, and you just want to get as close to accurate as you can. So I'm going to fold all 4 of these to the center line, right? And then in effect, you, like I said, you have a smaller square. So making sure the tips don't get crinkled is a good thing to pay attention to. And again, you want these lines lined up as much as possible, but it's okay if they're a little bit off. I mean, I guess it depends on your comfort level with perfection, but you can see like there's a little bit of gap on this one, a little bit here, and I'm okay with that. So then you have a square, right, where you have folded all those pieces in, and then what you're going to do is just take 2, I'm going to turn it back over, you're going to take 2 corners, and fold them to the center line in a similar way that you did with the other star. So, and here, because they're extra layers, you're just going to want to be careful that you don't get extra crinkles, right, inside. So fold your first corner to that center line, and then fold your, see how that got crinkled? Your second corner to the center line. Here we go. And sometimes you have to do that, sort of untuck the edge there. And then what I like to do is turn it over and do that extra little bit there. So I have folded all of these pieces. I haven't rubbed them with the bone folder yet, but I have 8 points here. So there are 3. I'm going to just make sure these are, because this helps them. The more flat the window star is against the glass, the more the light shines through in a really magical way. And I'm sorry that my dog is going nuts downstairs, but that is the way that it is sometimes, right? Okay, there we go. Now we have 8 of these. And what we're going to do, I'm going to show you now how to put this one together. It's the same in all of them, no matter how many points they have. Once you're complete with the folding, you put them together by, and it's in different ways. But this one, you're going to, again, match up the edge of one to the center line of another and put, here's my glue stick, just a little dab of glue, right, under this corner. You can also put a little dab of glue toward the center. So I'm lining this one up. Step 1, right? And then I'm just going to go all the way around and do that. So I'm going to put a little dab here and a little dab here, or you could do it on this, on the back of this, and line that up. And a couple things that you're looking for are, like, see how there's a gap there? Can you see that gap? You want the edges, the center line to be matched as much as possible, and this center point to be as accurate as possible. And you can wiggle it around a little bit. Okay, here we go. Add this one. And this one. And another one. So this, because there are extra folds, makes a little bit smaller star, right? Because the points ended up being a bit smaller than that other, the yellow star that we made. Oh, dab of glue. Okay, so now on the last point to the star, like I showed you on the first one, or I mentioned on the first one, you're going to put it on top of number 7, right? We're on number 8. You're going to put it on top of number 7, but you're going to tuck it under the very first one. And just put a little dab of glue there, and there you go. I can move that over slightly to get rid of that gap. And there you have it. And when there's no space in the middle, you've done a pretty good job there. So here is our white window star. And I'm going to come back on screen and hold this up so you can get a good view of it. And then you can see the 2 stars that we made. Okay, so hi there. Sorry for the wiggly camera. And here we are. So here is our white star. And let's see where you can best see the pattern. It's a little bit hard to see indoors, but when you get it, in this hanging, just holding it up, but when you get it hung in the window, you will find that the light shines through it in a really, really magical way, and these patterns will really pop. So there is the white star, and here is the yellow star with the really simple fold. And I just encourage you to make some window stars this season and hang them up in your window, and please share them. I would love to see your window stars. So you can share them, like I said, on social media with the hashtag #windowstarchallenge, and we would love to have a look at your creation. So let your light shine. Thanks for joining me.